They say nightmares are just dreams. But what if they leave something behind? What if they change you forever? This is the scariest dream I've ever had. One that I've never been able to forget. And maybe it wasn't just a dream.
I had recurring nightmares as a child, dreams that felt too real. In every single one, something evil lurked in the darkness of my home, whispering to me in a voice filled with malice. Sometimes it threatened my family. Other times it spoke in a language I couldn't understand. But there was one nightmare that stood out, the one that changed everything. I found myself outside my house at night, which was strange because I had always followed one rule. When the streetlights come on, you go inside. Or else. Through the window, I saw my family eating dinner, but they didn't acknowledge me. No one noticed I was missing. Confused, I banged on the glass, calling for them, but they never reacted. It was as if I wasn't even there. Then, a swing set appeared in my driveway. My best friend Kyle sat on it, swaying silently. Relief washed over me. Finally, I wasn't alone, but something about him felt wrong. I sat next to him, trying to get his attention. No reaction. He just kept swinging. I remembered the stash of Starbursts I had hidden in my backyard. A real stash I actually had in waking life. If anything could snap him out of this, it was candy. I ran to grab them, desperate to come back before he disappeared. But when I returned, his swing was empty, still swaying. Then, I noticed the streetlights. They were going out, one by one, moving toward me. I turned to the houses. All of them were dark. The entire neighborhood had shut me out. Panic took over. I ran to my front door, slamming the doorbell over and over, watching the darkness creep closer. And then, the last light flickered out. I closed my eyes, and I heard it. A deep, guttural laugh. Demonic, mocking me. Then, nothing. I never had another nightmare like it, but from that night on, I felt different. Maybe it got inside that day. Maybe it never left. I woke up yelling, screaming, and shaking. My throat was as dry as the Sahara Desert, as if I had been screaming for hours. I could barely move. Even if I could, I didn't want to, knowing they could be watching me. Before I woke up, I remember lying in bed staring out my window. The night was dark, but the moonlight was bright enough to illuminate the world outside. That's when I saw it. A UFO. It hovered for a moment, then began to rise, drifting higher into the sky. I sat up, ready to rush out and tell someone what I had just seen, when it happened. A blinding blue light engulfed me. The air vibrated violently, the sound so loud, my skull felt like it would crack. My body lifted off the bed. I was levitating. That's when I knew. I was being taken. The next thing I remember, I was awake. But I wasn't in my room anymore. Through my closed eyes, I sensed it, blinding light. My body was strapped to a freezing metal table. I was naked, helpless, trapped. I heard them. A low, inhuman hum surrounded me. Cold, skeletal fingers pressed against my skin, tracing along my arms. I tried to move. Nothing. Then, pain. A sharp, piercing drill burrowed into my arm. I screamed, I thrashed, I fought. And then I woke up. Still screaming. I sat up, gasping for breath, drenched in sweat. My hands frantically ran over my skin, my arms, my neck, behind my ears. No marks, no wounds, nothing. But I felt them. I knew they had been there. And worst of all, I felt like they weren't finished with me. Maybe it was just a nightmare. But if that's true, why do I still feel them watching? Why does it feel like they're waiting for me to fall asleep? Again.
For an entire year, I was plagued with a recurring dream that came monthly. In this dream, Tyndall Air Force Base and Mexico Beach were destroyed by a massive storm.
I kept having this vivid dream where Tyndall Air Force Base and Mexico Beach were wiped away by a massive storm. The buildings at Tyndall would disappear with the rain, and the shoreline looked completely different. But what unsettled me the most was Mexico Beach. In the dream, I would drive through the ruined highway to find a ghostly village built from wreckage, inhabited by spirits who either didn't know they were dead or simply didn't care. They had a strange, washed-out appearance, and the soft glow of oil lamps hung over their doors. Yet the flames felt like mere memories. They acknowledged me, even offered me sweets when I had no money. But when I left, the village vanished into darkness, leaving only the silent forest. These dreams weighed heavily on me, and then strange events began to happen. One night, my husband and I went fishing at Mexico Beach, a quiet, isolated area with no houses nearby. While he went to the car, I saw white figures in my peripheral vision, and further down the beach, I noticed a dim oil lamp flickering before disappearing. When my husband returned, he was visibly shaken. He had approached what he thought was me, only to find a figure in a white gown that vanished into thin air. Then, on October 10th, 2018, Hurricane Michael tore through, leaving our town devastated. Tyndall and Mexico Beach were completely destroyed, just like in my dream. The realization made me feel sick. After the storm, eerie things continued. Motion lights flashing without reason. And one night, a scream so inhuman and full of rage pierced the silence, shaking us to the core. The following night, I dreamt that the storm's victims came to me, silently handing me muddy coins before disappearing. The storm is gone, but the motion lights still flash wildly, as if something unseen lingers in the darkness.
I haven't dreamt of the storm anymore, but the motion lights still flash wildly from time to time, just like that night with the scream.